370094. Turn it over to the one and only Jason Solis from the KUAM News Team for our next interview. Jason, good morning.
All right, good morning, and good morning, Link family all over the world. I have been waiting literally hours, but only because Dr. Kelly Marsh-Taitano, our dear friend, former Senator Dr. Kelly Marsh-Taitano, reached out to us yesterday, letting us know that there was a wonderful opportunity that's going to happen this weekend. The latte in Chamorro culture, literally a symbol of strength, the symbol of our people, implies history, implies the familial structure, in many ways the foundation of our homes and who we are. And a new book that's coming out in partnership with the Ajuda Foundation and Guampedia and the Guam Preservation Trust is going to be available starting Saturday on the 12th, and we want to tell you all about that. So Dr. Kelly Marsh-Taitano is here. Senator, thank you so much for joining us once again. Always good to see you.
Hafadit and Mananasi. I'm so glad that you were able to find time for us, and I'm so pleased to be here with Joe Kanata and Rita Nauta. They've been wonderful partners all along for this project.
If a week goes by in the link and we have not had Joe and Rita on the show, it has been too long. So of course, our friend Rita Nauta, who I have not had the pleasure of interviewing in far some time. Rita, of course, doing wonderful work for our island community at Guampedia. Rita, buenas. So good to see you.
Jason, it's good to see you too. Happy to be here with you all.
And congratulations for getting this project off the ground. And of course, Joe Kanata, Guam Preservation Trust, Humatak Heritage Foundation, basically anything that ensures the preservation of our history, our culture, our heritage, our society. Joe's probably got a hand in it. So Joe, Hafade, good to see you as always as well. Oops, you're muted, Joe.
Sorry about that.
There you go.
Buenas, Jason.
Buenas, Joe.
Tato Guam.
Yep.
Good morning.
So congratulations
yes,
to you all again on Latte in the Marianas. Now, of course, the title would imply that it's not just a Guam thing. The Latte obviously has regional scope for those of us up north in the Commonwealth as well as here on Guam. So, please feel free to riff off each other or jump in as you see fit. But what was the motivation for this book, and is there a central theme, for the book? Obviously centered on the Latte and what it means to our culture, but how did it come about?
Well, when I teach a historian Guahan or Guam history at the university, I've just noticed that over the years, and Rita and Joe maybe have had either similar experiences or maybe they've had very different experiences, but when I get the students coming from all over the island, and we get quite a few from Sinamaya as well, and we get to the section where we talk about the Latte era and the Latte, and a lot of students, they haven't seen a real Latte in person, and they're really unfamiliar with it. And it's a little surprising in that there is a Latte set on the campus right in front of the the RFK library, and they probably walk past it every day. But when I was hearing things like that, I just thought, let's do what we can for this generation and all the other generations to capture what our Manunko grew up hearing from their parents and grandparents, and going forward. So the book is broken up into 4 sections, and I'll let Rita talk about some of the sections, and then Joe was a strong part of other sections as well. So they'll be able to describe those sections well.
Sure.
Well, the first section, and I kind of encapsulated as what we have. And like Dr. Kelly mentioned, it's what our Mariana have passed on to us, the oral history, and then the connections of the Latte and what it means, especially to our Mariana prior generations. So it's making those connections through the oral history, through our language, through the living history, polyeric forms. And one of the things about the book is you're going to find that some of them are written in Chamorro, and then you also have the English translation. it's really wonderful, especially if you're trying to learn Chamorro or sharpen your Chamorro speaking skills. But like Polly Eric, who's featured in the section, talks about, breaks down the terms of Lati and makes those connections to there are similar structures in the Philippines and Southeast Asia, and then talks about how some of the Manana look at the word Lati or refer to it as coral rock. And there's actually a word, a Chamorro word, Lati, which means a scab, a sore. So you can really see the connection because a scab is formed from within, and the Lati itself is the way it's quarried and the way it's shaped. It's shaped from within. So you're going to find a lot of these real wonderful gems of wisdom and knowledge that's been shared and passed on. And so that really encapsulates the first section, Ginin Mañanata.
Fantastic. Now I'm old enough to remember. I mean, we're all roughly the same age here, right? But when I was going to school, when I was young and taking Chamorro history, we would go on field trips. We would go, down in Ilahan to Lansanantigo and various parts like in the South, Joe, like around, your stomping grounds. And whenever you would see like a Lati, kids, and Dr. Kelly, I think you put it perfectly, is it's not the kids today don't care. It's just kind of the symbology of the Lati is, oh, that's something cool, like, to wear for jewelry. It's an earring, it's a necklace or something like that. I kind of know it symbolizes like, our culture, it's our thing. But I remember seeing like, the Lati, it was not a smooth stone. It was a rock that had been affected by the ravages of time, and it possibly was around for a couple hundred years. And that in itself was symbolic. It showed that, like when you see a Latte stone, you're on sacred ground. Yeah. So Joe, how do you factor in, because you're such a proponent of understanding and of Chamorro history and everything like that. So how do you actually marshal that message about what the Lati really means to us and who we are?
Oh, Jason, the Lati has always been here for hundreds and hundreds of years, and we know what it is. We know where to find it. We know its sacredness and all of that. Just how do we take that forward? How do we move all of that information, all of that wisdom forward? And that sort of segues into the last chapter of this book, and that is moving forward and taking the Lati itself and being creative about that, but at the same time reminding us that this is who we are. When the last chapter looks at architects, how the architects would use the Lati in their design, in their building, in many different formats, in many different ways, that they can incorporate the Lati into their design plans. You look at folks that are the artistic folks, the jury. You mentioned the jury folks that would take that, and again, and that's really a form of preservation. It's the best form of preservation that makes it relevant for today. So not that we want everybody to know everything that the archaeologist had studied and put forth, but we want everyone to know just the simple thing about the Lati and how it means to us, and take it forward, move it forward.
Now, I don't know how it was.
Preserve it.
I don't know how it was for the three of you, but when I was growing up, my Nana, God rest her soul, when we would walk around the village in Agana Heights, if we would come, or she'd take me around, if we would come upon a Lati, it was almost like, okay, Jason, don't make noise, because that's hallowed ground, and it is a symbol of our ancestors and something to be shown the utmost respect, because like you said, Joe, it is literally preservation, and it is a lasting image of where we come from.
When I was little, also, Jason, my parents and my grandparents would tell me that when we come to places like that, sacred places, the only word they would say was stuhazi, meaning to stay away, and stay away meaning to respect the place, that you don't play there, that you don't fool around there, that you do respect that sacred place, and that's really same thing as you growing up, same thing, that your parents are telling you to respect that area. And so whenever people cross the Latte or any other sacred place, you can tell the demeanor of folks as they go through, because everything becomes very solemn, very peaceful.
Now, I mean,
and so we would like people to respect it that way.
okay, and if I may, I'd like to bring the ladies into this next question now, because Dr. Taitano, how do you actually instruct young minds and young contemporary people into what the Latte like truly means? And then Rita, maybe with your own work with Guampedia, how do you use the modern chronicle, like using the internet to make sure that you can actually communicate that message and say, like, okay, well, this is the classic way we used to teach what the Latte is, and this is how we can teach it to a new generation.
Yeah, that's why we have another 2 sections in the book. One section is all the ways, as Joe was mentioning, that artists are helping perpetuate it. So it may not be a living tradition anymore, but we can keep it alive in everybody's minds and help them be aware of it and continue to have that connection with it. And so there's one section where it's artists throughout the archipelago, poetry, chants, painting, sand art, I mean, you kind of name it. And we tried to cover as many mediums as possible, but we're really blessed within the Marianas. There's so many wonderful artists that we could only capture a small portion of them. And then there is a section there. Basically, we look at it as what the ancestors are telling us or have left behind as that heritage, that treasured, precious heritage. And you guys are all correct. Like, it's amazing that it has stood the test of time. It's lived through, they've survived through super typhoons, massive earthquakes, World War II, the bombing, the shelling. I mean, they say even for Gumataga, the 16-foot tall Latte set that are in Tinian, that the one that's still standing, you'll notice that the toss of the capstone is only partially there. And they say that it was actually hit from shrapnel from one of those ships that shot bombs. My military jargon's not so good. They are the type that shoot bombs from the ship to the shore, and that it was actually hit by either shrapnel or the bomb itself, and it still survived, and it's still standing there as that message to all the descendants about its strength and the ingenuity of Imanautamotna, the Chamorro ancestors who created it.
Sure. And if I could just add, Kelly, before I go to Rita, I know exactly that Latte Stone you're talking about at the Micronesian Area Research Center at UOG, and it used to be an unwritten rule when I was an undergraduate, because you could always do the thing where, like, if you're walking from one building, trying to get to the library or going to the student center, you just cut across the grass, and everybody does that, right? Everybody pretty much knows you don't do that with that Latte Stone, because that is ultimately, that's very disrespectful and everything. You use the dedicated walkways because you don't cross over through the grass right in front of a Latte Stone. We just know that. Would you agree, Rita?
Oh, absolutely. And, in terms of what Joe was saying is trying to pass it forward, and especially to our Manyatati, our Manhobin, the Famaguon. And that's part of what Guampedia does, is taking all of the work, the amazing work that archaeologists have done of the Marianas over the last 60 years, and then the oral history, the cultural heritage, the knowledge of our Manyana that they've shared and passed on, and then how kids can connect to that, and making these connections to how we live and what we do today. One of the things, in fact, one of the entries in the book is written by Tony Malia Ramirez, Guam historian. And Malia talks about the sacredness of the Chamorro word guma, or a Chamorro dwelling. And like what Joe says is even my parents, it's like, engin un li'i iguma lati. If you see the lati, suhadzi, stay away, but be respectful. And so Malia connects that to the custom that we have throughout the Pacific. You can kind of know if you're approaching a house of Pacific Islanders because there's slippers and zoris and shoes outside the door. Because our custom of taking off our shoes, to walk into a house, you walk in with your shoes, everybody looks at you like, what's your problem?
Yep.
and that reflects the sacredness of how we feel of a guma.
You're gonna have a swollen ear because someone's gonna go like whack, probably about like less than 2 minutes after you walk in the house. It's probably gonna be probably either your grandparents or your Nina or your Nino.
And that how our parents taught us to conduct ourselves. When we go to someone's house, do we just start picking things up and, rearranging the furniture? And how, we have to look at it, and especially our belief in our ancestors, that their presence, their spiritual presence is still there. Mm-hmm. Even in a house like my mother's house, who she passed away 4 years ago, but every time I walk into her house, I feel her spirit. And so that really translates over time, over our history and the experiences. And so when kids can make those connections and say, wow, this is part of me, then they start to realize the value, and then they start to care about it. That's something that's reflected in the program down at Humatic that Joe's been spearheading with in getting kids to be the stewards of their own villages.
Absolutely.
And that's something, we all need to have a role in protecting and preserving. And that, the Latte really represents just the last third of our ancient period. Our ancient era spans 3,000 years. And, and that the Latte itself is the most tangible representation of what we have left of our ancient culture. And so this book really does an amazing job of weaving all that together, and then showing through the artists, the expressions and the pride that they have. It's really an amazing book that I think will do a lot to throughout the Marianas and throughout the world to raise awareness about the Chamorro culture and our identity, especially for our Famagua.
Sure, and thank you, Rita, for saying, and I think operative word was home and the house, because Joe, I'd like to go to you because you were mentioning architecture, right? And the Latte, growing up, we were all taught that, the Latte is not only this wonderful symbol, and it's, as we said, it's very hallowed ground wherever it is. It also serves a functional purpose in literally the foundation of many people's homes, because it protects us, it gives us strength, it gives us shelter when we build a house upon it, but it also keeps our ancestors and our beloved ones who are no longer with us close by us.
Yeah, so with Guam Preservation Trust, our vision really is that everyone is responsible for preservation, for historic preservation, through education, cooperation, and advocacy, all leading to our heritage, really. And so we look at architects, we look at archaeologists, we even look at teachers, especially teachers who are really the leaders of education here on the island. And if we want to convey that information to our community, our teachers are the ones that do that. They're the ones that provide the foundation, just like a Latte, to provide that foundation for our children. So even nurses and doctors, everyone in this island is responsible. It's not just Guampedia, it's not just Dr. Marsh, it's not just the Guam Preservation Trust, but everyone collectively put together. And this book serves an example that everyone really contributed to the success of this book, to the publishing of this book. And we like to offer it to the people of Guam. And this Saturday is a good time to come to the Micronesian Mall from 1 to 3 o'clock. And there's going to be an exhibit. There's going to be tables with Guampedia stuff in it, with the Guam preservation on it. And then you get to meet all the other folks that contributed to it, because we're encouraging them to come to pick up their book. To pick up and to appreciate. We want to appreciate their work. We want to appreciate everyone's work into putting this book together.
That is tremendous. Putting a book together is not easy, boys and girls, and everything. And these three wonderful people and the team and the many people also working alongside with them, putting a lot of hard work to make this a reality. But Dr. Taitano, so that's this Saturday, as Joe said, Micronesia Mall Center Court. starting at 1 in the afternoon. But there's also, because the lessons learned in this book have regional scope, you're also planning on doing a similar book launch up north for our friends in NMI, correct?
Yes, and Rita and Joe will definitely be there. Some of the other people that worked on the project as assistants, we have Muñeca Dioro and Eva Uggan Cruz, who have been part of the Culture Club, each one of them. And I just want to point out, as people have been mentioning, like Joe specifically, there were over 80 contributors. So this book is hearing from so many voices, and we made sure that people from Saipan, Tinian, Luta, that they were included along with Guahan. And so, you know, it just was so important that everybody representing their islands could have a voice and be part of this, because Latte existed throughout the archipelago all the way up to those northern islands like Maok and Pagin. So we're very proud to have them as part of it. And as you said, yes, with the logistics of getting 80 people together, that was a huge amount of working with everybody, but we're so proud of them for contributing.
Plus, there's that whole pandemic like thing that I'm sure made, you know, getting together and collaborating and everything like that a little bit extra difficult. But how about for the diaspora and the people who proudly claim Chamorro heritage, but, you know, like they may live in other places. You may have students who are going to school in the mainland, military personnel who are stationed, you know, throughout the world doing their duty and everything, but they wish to pass these lessons down to their children, or, you know, I mean, they literally have like a tattoo of the Latte on themselves because they want to carry their culture with them. Do you plan on making this book like available for sale on Amazon or UOG Press?
Actually, the book project leaders, Dr. Kelly, and with the blessing of the publisher, Guam Preservation Trust, they've given the book to Guam to make it available to the community. And so this Saturday, this is this Saturday at the launch, we'll be taking pre-sale orders of the book. And from February 12th to March 12th, you can make a reservation for your book, and you'll be able to do that on Guampedia's gift shop, online gift shop. And so the promotional price for the pre-sale orders promotion is $50, which it's an oversized book, coffee table book.
I was just about to say that's a perfect coffee table size. That's beautiful. Actually, could we get another shot of that, Rita? Because that is lovely.
Wow.
Yeah.
We got a coffee table right in. Well, it's not really a coffee table, Jay, but it'll do.
Yeah. Okay. And because I'll say again. Sorry, Rita. Because the launch is this Saturday, starting February. Yes. That is the perfect gift. Trust me, I'm not
Valentine's.
joking. There you go. That's a perfect Valentine's Day gift.
Yeah, that's it.
Give that to your babe.
We'll build our love on a foundation of Latte.
Yes, and unfortunately, the books won't be on sale on Saturday, but you can actually make it, put it into your Valentine card and say that you'll be receiving the book as soon as it's printed and delivered. So you can still make a great Valentine gift. You just put it in your Tensuli card. That would be great. But yes. Go. From February, starting Saturday at the launch, and then through March 12th, we'll have it. You'll be able to make a reservation, a pre-order, and then after the pre-order promotions ends on March 12th, the book will be on sale in our gift shop for $65. We also have partners with some of the local bookstores that will be available, but it will be available in our Guampedia gift shop.
Rita, that's a really good bargain for a coffee table book. Now that we've seen like the dimensions, because I mean, I've got a coffee table book like you know, the greatest 50 years of Sports Illustrated covers. That thing cost me like $90.
The Madonna one too, right?
Yeah.
Yes. And the reason behind that, for the pre-order promotion, because the first run, the Guam Preservation Trust and the book project leaders provided the books to the libraries, to the educators, to get it into the hands of our teachers, and especially the contributors that made it possible. So this pre-book pre-order promotion is to help get support for the second print run that we'll be able to sell to the public. And so, and that it is a really great deal because on your coffee table, it's one of those books that you could pick up, and the way that it's laid out, the colors and the images, and then the entries, they're short, and it's a really great read for the whole family.
Rita, you're bringing back memories that I used to have going to Nana and Tata's house again when I was a youngster, and they would just like sit us down, and they would have these big books on, you know, Chamorro legends, or they would even just, you know, go off the cuff, and they would tell us about Sirena, about, you know, Punta dos Amantes and everything like that. And that was, you know, the ushering of this knowledge about who we are, down to my cousins and I and everything like that. So, yeah, gosh,
I had a question. I had a question. So, hey, Joe, good morning.
Morning.
Morning, Rita. Morning, Senator. I saw something on Twitter, so it's probably got to be true. But it was something about there was a building or buildings, ancient buildings that they took pictures of, and I want to say it was like Indonesia or something. But someone was commenting on the similarity of the latte and what looked like a latte there. Did you guys cover this at all in your interview?
No, not this one.
Okay.
This is fascinating.
So is there? I mean, is there a relation to that or the similar? What have you found like with the similarities?
Yeah, you know, the book itself has about 80 different topics. I was counting them, right? Pretty much one per contributor. And what we tried to do is as comprehensive as we possibly could, cover different topics that people are really interested in. So it's like, are all latte alike? Where can you find latte? Are they existing in our region? And what you mentioned is, you know, we've maybe often talked about latte as if it's in a vacuum, but we're part of this region of Austronesian speakers who have similarity because of that ancestral connection of language, but also culture. And so we do find wooden and stone pillars in other places, but given all of that, latte are still unique. And so the book really highlights that. And as Rita was saying, we modeled it after Guampedia in many ways, where there are many wonderful academic resources. There are over 1,000 archaeology reports that mention latte, but you need time, you need access. And so what we did is all of the entries are between 50 to 500 words, so that if you are interested in that topic about how they exist in the region, you can sit down and read it in 15 minutes because it's less than 500 words. Yeah. So we made it, as Rita said, very friendly for the entire family so that they can be looking at it together and sharing it together.
This isn't someone's dissertation. This is like literally some.
Thank God.
Yeah, it's a family event. You know what, ladies, and Joe, if I can, what I would really love to do is when I pick up my copy, because I'm definitely going to get one. I'll see you guys on Saturday at the Micronesia Mall, probably at 1 o'clock. I'm going to be the first one, and immediately after that, I'm going to go down to Adelup, and I'm going to take a picture of the Latte of the Marianas book, standing in front of the Latte of Freedom, and I'm going to take a selfie of myself. That's so meta.
That's deep. That's deep. That's deep, Jay.
And just make sure
Malik.
Latte of the Marianas book.
There you go. Yes.
But I wanted to add, just to Chris's question, you know, with the connections within the region of similar structures, the term haligi, and that's something that is mentioned in the book, is that, you know, it's the column, it's the post, and that's the same exact word in Tagalog. And then there's also an Indonesian word, haligi. So it really does show the connections through language that these structures within our region, and you know, and there's just so much to discover, and there's still so much to learn about the Latte and our connections throughout the region.
Yeah, that's so crazy how the Tagalogs and the Filipinos got that from us. You know, it's amazing. That's my Chamorro-centric point of view. Sorry, not sorry. Jay, we had can you put the order?
Yeah,
link up in the comments?
okay. There's a comment like Rita. People are gonna have my hide because they were saying, can you please post the link in the comments? And you were saying this is off your shop, so it's guampediashop.com, correct?
Guampedia gift shop.
Guampedia gift shop. Okay, gotcha. Okay, so we're gonna put that in the comments, you guys, so you can get your pre-orders in. So make sure to give that to somebody as a Valentine's Day gift. Maybe you can surprise them on, say, St. Patrick's Day. It makes a wonderful.
Tomorrow's coming up.
Well,
That's tomorrow.
tomorrow. Makes a wonderful Easter present if you want to like hold it, give it as a, put it in the Easter basket.
I just want to clarify that we don't have it online yet.
Okay.
And we're going to actually take reservations at the launch on Saturday, and then we'll have it online. So if you want to get on the reservation list, come join us at the launch on Saturday, and then you'll be able to do make your reservations in the gift shop online after.
Thank you. Thank you, Senator. Thank you, Rita. Thank you, Joe. See you at Mass.
And congratulations to all of you and everything. This is a wonderful project. And
awesome.
May I just ask, final thing, how does it feel to actually hold this? Because Joe, we know you're a man of action. You talk a lot about various places on Guam and everything like that, but you also like just going out and showing people and walking through, retracing the steps of our ancestors and everything like that. When you actually have this work bound and tangibly and physically like in your hands and everything like that, what does it make from each of you? How does it feel to actually say the fruits of our labor have now been compiled in this single book?
Oh, for me, I felt that 2 days ago when I brought 47 books to the librarians that were congregating at Tizen for their conference, and I talked about the book, and I talked about because we had other books also that we were. In fact, I wanted to mention another launch that we're doing with the Guam Preservation Trust with Inangokok. Ekungok Historiata. The book is out. We're going to be giving it out to the teachers. But 2 days ago, I was at the library conference, and that whole delivery of the book, sort of the relief I'm getting that I know that our people are going to get this information because it's going to be kept in all the libraries in our schools, and that teachers have access to them.
So that was your Fugu moment.
Yes,
Right.
very much.
Okay.
And then when you come down on Saturday, then that will be more Fugu moment.
Yep. Like I said, I'm gonna go to the mall. Then I'm going right down to Adelup at the Latte of Freedom. That's my Instagram this weekend.
Thank you, Jay. Thank you very much, Senator Rita and Joe. Appreciate your time this morning.
Yes.
Zeus Maasi for having us on.
That's the Hogamos. There you go. Good stuff.
That's
7:43. Yeah.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I mean, do you remember when we were kids and we would take Guam history class in
I
school?
remember when we were kids, the what you're talking about, the Chamorro Legends, it was in a spiral plastic notebook, and you had to be really careful about flipping the pages because it would. And then the only bound Chamorro centric book I remember was the one that was written. It was like Destiny's Landfall or something.
Yeah.
Right. So there was.
But remember when we were taking Guam history in school and everything, how much of those lectures focused on like the Latte Stone? They're like, this is why it is the shape that it is. This this is why the top is flat. This is again, it serves a functional purpose. This is what it means. This is why you have to be. It's almost like making noise in church. You have to show this the ultimate respect because it's not just a symbol. I mean, this is our connection to the past.
Thank you very much, Jay. We're going to take a quick break, and we're coming back with more of The Link, which is brought to you by Pacific Points, Cabo Enterprises, ITD, and Jack in the Box. Good morning.
We want to see your football fan love in time for Valentine's Day and the big game on February 14th. KUAM News and KUAM Digital are rounding up and showcasing football lovers all over the island every day before the big game and giving one lucky fan and their loved ones the chance to win the ultimate game day Valentine's bash at home. All you got to do is send an email to promotions@kuam.com